do this, but this is just the way that I do it, and it works for me because it gives me a lot of control. And what I like most is being in control. Okay. Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Nisha from Nisha's View, and of course, I'm the Nisha in that. And on this channel, we talk about fashion and we talk about photography. And today, we're talking about photography and specifically editing. How I edit a lot of composites. Now, normally with compositing, you take one picture and you put it in to another picture and you come out with one thing. So today I'm going to show you how I do that. Now there are different ways that you could do this, but this is just the way that I do it, and it works for these two pictures and make it this picture. All right, stay tuned. All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit of split screen. So I'm gonna be talking to you on one side and then showing you actually what I do on the other side to get this picture to look like it's one picture, and just a little fun with the graduate that I did. And this was her request, and hey, your wish is my command, and I'll do it for you. In Lightroom, I bring all of my pictures into Lightroom, and then from here, I just edit the lighting. So which means that I will do some just little soft adjustments of the shadows and the exposure if I need to do it, if I need to do some highlighting, which is what I'm showing here, some shadows, increasing the shadows. And that's what I really like to do, is increase shadows and, you know, decrease my blacks a little bit. It just gives the picture a little bit more depth. Use two pictures to create this one picture. So here again, I'm just adjusting the second picture that I'm going to use. And yeah. So I just, like I said, I just adjust the lighting, I adjust the shadows, and all of this is done in Lightroom, which is the main lighting adjustment or editor that I use for my photos. So, yep, and so once I do that, I save it. I save the picture that I'm So this is the main photo, so I'm going to take it into Photoshop, in which you can do straight from Lightroom. So I just do a right click and then edit in Photoshop, and it pops open Photoshop. Now today, on this day, Photoshop in Lightroom was just being real slow and real finicky, and it can be that way sometimes, especially if you haven't updated. I don't think I've updated to the latest, but anyway, we mainly use, this is our main backdrop, our main picture that we're going to composite another picture into. That's what I do first. I always create a layer. I never edit on my background layer unless I'm just doing something that, you know, I don't need it for. But mostly I create a new layer so that I won't disturb my main layer. The picture to sit. So here I'm just decreasing the opacity so that I can really see how, you know, she's going to be sitting on top of the cap. And I just lower the opacity here so that I can see where it is that she's positioned on top of the hat. And I just create a mask, which is here. And then I invert this mask. Just paint in white to reveal your picture that you inverted. So again, this is just my way of doing this. There are so many different ways that you probably could do this, but this is just my way because I like to be in control, and I like for things to be precise. And for me, using my Wacom palette, Wacom tablet, and the pen, it's very precise. You could probably do this with a mouse, but to me, using the Wacom tablet is very precise, and I like the results that I get from it because I can get into those crevices and, you know, just really get detailed work with it. And I'm done in Photoshop, I actually just merge my layers together and hit save. And once I save it in Photoshop, it goes right back into Lightroom. And from Lightroom, yep, so here you see I'm just checking to make sure it looks good. And then I just merge the layers all together, save it, and it pops back over into Lightroom, and you have your picture. Voila! You have your composite. Your composite is done. And yeah, and then from here, I just do some minor adjustments and tweaks because now it's a new picture. So it has its own, you know, unique ID. And so I just want to make sure that, you know, any other little tweaks and things that I want to do, then I'm going to clean it up a little bit. But for this one, this is just like a rough draft that I sent to my client. And so it really isn't the final picture because I will go back in and obsess over some details a little more. Clean up some things that may have been on her shirt, do some skin retouching, do some teeth whitening, do a little bit more in-depth editing process. And if you want to see that if you want to see me do a little bit more Yeah. I knew it, and you knew it too. But anyway, if you want to see me do a little bit more, in-depth editing, let me know in the comments, and we could definitely do that, on a couple of these pictures, so you can see how it's done, how I do my editing. I don't like to do a lot of editing on the face and doing a lot of that. Sometimes it can look a little fake, but I can definitely show you my process of editing. And so, yeah, that's it. That is how I could do a composite photo. And it took me a while to do this, and basically to learn how to do this. I watched a lot of YouTube, of course, like you may be doing now, and tweaking how I could make it my own and find a way for me to edit and get it, to the liking of others. So, but like I said, this is something that you probably could find a better way, a quicker way maybe to do it. It's just my way of doing it. So that's it. That's all I have for today. And thank you all for commenting. Thank you all for subscribing. I appreciate it. And definitely, let's talk in the comments about, what do you edit? What editing software do you use? So, yeah. And until next time.